talking to away fans and just being cordial. Once the game starts, all bets are off. So
yeah, you will yell at him. Oh, by the way, how is it not having the opposing football team right in front of you?
I kind of liked it, actually. I didn't think it was bad. I've kind of laid off the players and stuff like that. The refs are still fair game. Obviously, they're right there from where I sit. But it was fun. A lot of the Aggie players, DT's very, you can get his attention, and he likes getting the crowd all, pumped up and stuff like that. Yeah. And some of the other receivers, the receiving group kind of sits right in front of us. That's where they were at the last game anyway. So that was kind of fun interacting with them and stuff. But I don't know. I think it'll be good to have the opposing team over where the students are, as long as the students keep it, cordial, and they don't make them move them back over. But they can razz them. You know what I mean? They can give it to them.
Cool.
And I think that's better anyway, because they're the same age group. I'm getting a little old, so I feel kind of bad picking on, 19, 20-year-old. And I'm kind of an old man now. So I've kind of laid off the players, and, since probably 2010 or so, 2012-ish, I was pretty harsh. Last year, the WAC, I think I got flipped off by opposing teams, 3 different times. I know Idaho guy flipped me off. A couple of other teams, I think I got flipped off too. So I've laid off the players though. But
okay, well, moving on to Boise. Definitely some interesting kind of things to watch in this game. Boise has struggled to stop the run. I mean, Jalen Warren, our boy, that transferred to Oklahoma State, he really went off for over 200 yards rushing. They haven't rushed the ball really well this year as far as Boise State. What are your thoughts on Boise? It seems a little different to me. I don't know.
See, and that's what, I don't know. It just worries me. I was going to look it up, kind of throw out last year or whatever and look at the years past, but it just seems like it doesn't matter what running back they have. Whenever they play us, somebody goes off. Well, they're averaging like 60 yards a game on the ground right now. It's really bad for Boise in that aspect. So that I don't know, that worries me, just because I'm thinking of, the past and the history, or is somebody going to go off for 150, 200 yards on Saturday? Are we going to be able to contain them?
2 yards per carry, Seth.
2 yards. Yeah. So, I mean, we should be able to, I don't know. I mean, that Air Force game was crazy. Like, you see all the yards that they put up, but I don't care if somebody puts up 1,000 yards. If we have one more point in them at the end of it, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? BJ Rains, he's kind of he's their guy at Boise, the reporter, whatever you want to call him.
Beat reporter or whatever.
The beat reporter, yeah, not the play-by-play guy, but he's their beat guy. And I was looking at some of the stuff he's put out, and he actually put out a few things like in the first half. Boise's been playing really well in the first half, and we haven't been.
Not so much.
No, so in the first half, they've been averaging 251 yards and 28 points in the first half. The second half, they've been averaging 97 yards and 7 points. So it's like, what the heck happens at halftime? I have no idea. I don't know if that's really good coaching and other teams making adjustments and this new staff's not making adjustments up there, or what's going on. But I don't think we can afford to come out like we have the last 3 games slow, and try to play catch up in the second half. I don't want to get down double digits to Boise. I just don't want that. I don't want that with any team. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what Coach Anderson said, he's like, it's been stressful, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He can say what he's going to say, but I mean, I don't know. It's been pretty, I don't know. I was watching that Air Force game, and I even tweeted out, I can't live tweet during a game because I get way too emotional. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I just can't.
Especially against Air Force and against Boise and BYU. So we've got 3 straight games that are just going to be super, like, highly charged matchups.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's going to be
So,
super.
I
It's going
mean,
to be a super
Boise
physical
is,
game. Frank, uh, he talked today in the press up there, and BJ Rains, he talked about what he said. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. They're talking about D tackles and stuff like that. And Obashir, I think that's how you say his name, Obashir. I can't pronounce his first name at all. He's 6'3", 306 D tackle. He's unlikely. He didn't start, but he's in the depth chart, like second in the depth chart or whatnot.
Yeah, Obashir has 7 tackles on the year. He's played in all
and then
3
there's another
games,
guy.
but...
There's another guy. He's taken a leave of absence. He's 6'2", 290. He's a senior too. His name's Scale. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It's IGIEHAM.
Aggie or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what he would have done. He didn't really show up in the depth charts at all.
Both those guys are seniors. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to be a pretty big loss when you're planning on nose tackle, D tackle guys.
Right. And I'm just talking about like for us to be able to run the ball, and if, the high pace, in the second half, like people wearing down and stuff, if they don't have the depth. Frank even said they might have to play a freshman this weekend, and that's fine. I mean, freshmen are great as long as they can play, right? And I just think if we can move the ball, possess the ball, like if you look at the time of possession in the Air Force game, I was shocked. It was only like 6-7 minutes difference, and that's perfect. That's like crazy. Perfect for a high-speed offense like we go. I thought they paced the game perfectly for Air Force. I've rewatched that game a couple of times, and the onside kick, I was like, what the heck, but Coach Anderson kind of pointed it doesn't matter if that team gets it on the 50 or if they get it on the 10, you know what I mean? Because if they get it 4th and 1 on the 20-yard, their own 20-yard line, they're going to go for it. They don't care. You know what I mean? So steal possessions and stuff like that. But I think if if we can run the ball, Boise, obviously their receivers, we got to play better in the secondary, obviously.
Well, I think
and we did both those games.
But Air Force is Shakir is that guy, that wide receiver that could just kill the Aggies. Like he could just go off. He scares the crap out of me. And last year, maybe even the last 2 years, hasn't it been Shakir that just went off? And well, I guess they had another guy too that's now in the NFL, right? They had
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember
this game. I think they had a couple guys that just killed the Aggies the last couple of years, even back to 2018, if you want to go back that far. And hopefully the Aggies can just corral Shakir and not let him go off, and obviously play well against the run. And I think there's a lot less weapons for this offense and defense this year. It feels like a different Boise team to me. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, they've kind of shown it. I mean, that they should have won that Oklahoma State game. If anybody watched it, they had it at the end. It was theirs for the taking, and they just, and doing that at home and everything. That's not Boise State. You know what I mean?
I flipped over to the game after the Aggie game, and I was expecting it to be a 30s or 40s high scoring game,
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 21-20 or whatever. And I was like, what? This is
but I mean, they played them close, and Jalen had over 200 yards rushing, you know what I mean? So it's like they can still play football. I mean, they trounced UTEP.
Boise State got a bunch of turnovers too, and they didn't do anything with them. That's what's crazy is they've been. Let's see. Let me look it up. They've had 5 interceptions this year and 2. Oh wait, Yeah, they've had 5 interceptions and 4 fumbles. I mean, they've gotten 9 turnovers this year. So they're averaging
Jeez.
3 turnovers per game, but it's not
But they're
like
just
their
not
offense is
capitalizing.
doing anything with it. That's what's crazy.
Right. And I think Brockmeyer, I mean, I think he's a good quarterback, but I think if you can get, I mean, it's kind of like with any quarterback, really. I mean, this might sound vanilla or generic, but we can't play. We got to bring it. We got to get pressure on him. We got to, I mean, throw Air Force out of the, that's just a weird team to play, and I don't care if they go to the AAC. They can go. I don't care. Because I'm sick and tired of just, that's a different podcast. But yeah, I mean, I think we just need to bring the pressure. If we can get pressure on them and not let somebody go off in the run game, I honestly think that as long as we've played like we have the last 3 weeks, we should be in pretty good shape. I don't know why we're dogs by 9 points right now. I don't understand that at all. Maybe the history of us playing Boise, we haven't beat them since 2015, but every year's a new year. I mean, look at last year, this year.
12. So
right. Yeah. No, I mean, the money's coming in on Utah State, obviously. And I'd be shocked if it's not around 7 or 6.5 by kickoff, you know what I mean? But
with the injuries,
I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but
yeah, I mean, and that leads me into my next kind of I guess part of this podcast is the keys to the game, and definitely my number one key is turnovers. I mean, it just seems like Boise State has just I've been to every I'm trying to think if I've been to every home and away Boise State game in the last 5 or 6 years. I think I have. And it just feels like every time they get one more turnover or they come up with some big play. And I think Harsin was, I guess one thing that Harsin was really good at is he just did whatever it took to win. Like he had his trick plays, he had his special teams plays, turnovers. Somehow, some way, they found a way to win under Harsin. And kind of like you were saying with Calhoun, I hated Harsin because, I mean, I could tell. I stood on the field and I could tell Harsin was trying to steal the Aggie signals. Like I could tell that's what he was doing. He's like standing in a certain spot, looking over there, trying to get the signals from the Aggie offense and defense. And, that guy just drove me crazy. But he obviously did a good job at winning those close games. It was never really, I mean, there was a couple blowouts that Boise State won. And then obviously the Aggies had one blowout that the Aggies had about 25 turnovers. But turnover is going to be a huge key, number one key, I think. What else? I guess, so would your next key be like just stop the run, not let them get crazy in the run game? Turn that around?
Most definitely. I mean, most definitely for me, because it just seems like, I don't know, like you said, Shakir, he could do his thing and it might be somebody else. You know what I mean? I mean, we might do well enough with Shakir and it might be somebody else, but
and maybe
I would rather.
Maybe they have some secret tight end because the Aggies have been getting killed by tight ends. But
yeah, that seemed that's what was driving me nuts during the North Dakota game.
Mm-hmm.
Just seemed like we were just getting killed on that seam just over and over and over again. And I was just waiting. It's like, when are we going to adjust to this? When are we going to adjust to it? Is it ever going to happen? But I mean, it was like 10, 15 yards every single time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm confident with, I think we'll be able to run the ball. Air Force was supposed to be pretty stout against the run. When we started playing them, I think they were giving up less than 100 yards a game, weren't they? Weren't they giving up only like 60 or 70 yards a game, and they had already